What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another video for you guys today, and today we're going to be looking back at the Spurs versus West Ham game that was played out on Tuesday night, doing a bit of a tactical review, seeing what panned out in the game and where the game was won. Looking at the lineups of both teams, Tottenham only made minimal changes to the game against Manchester United. Bergwijn came out for Lucas Moura, who started on the right hand side, and Giovani Celso came into the starting lineup to replace Harry Winks. Dele Alli also started ahead of Eric Lamela, so three changes there in the midfield, but more like for like than any massive changes. However, looking at West Ham's lineup, they made a very crucial tactical change in this game, which benefited them massively. Although it couldn't get them any, points, it definitely improved them defensively, and that was taking out Felipe Anderson, putting Balbuena at centre back, and moving Declan Rice into midfield, creating a midfield three. Now, in my preview, I stated that I thought that the central midfield was a massive area where West Ham are going to be lacking and that we could exploit. However, they plugged that gap by pushing Declan Rice into midfield, creating a middle three of three defensive midfielders of Rice, Souček and Noble, meaning that the midfield areas were very congested and it was very difficult for Dele Alli to get involved in the game. That was a good tactical switch by David Moyes, and it worked for a time. However, the other prediction I made is that the fullback areas is really where we're going to get some joy, especially because West Ham's wingers don't track back, seeing as Aurier and Ben Davies were our most productive avenues, especially in the first half. That was where we were getting our most joy, because Bowen and Fornals didn't do much tracking back. They're not very good defensively, and Davis and Aurier were able to get into good positions. Looking at the first half, the central areas are just very congested. We weren't able to get much joy in the central areas. Noble, Souček and Declan Rice were just clogging him up. It was very hard to get any sort of space at all in these areas, and Tottenham resorted to just long shots. The best chance of the opening exchanges was Lucas Moura's long range effort. It was a freestanding save by Fabianski, but only really, as you can see, out wide. There was some sort of encouragement, there was a bit of space, and the amount of times actually the combination of Lucas to Aurier was quite a fruitful one in the first half. Aurier getting in behind and being able to ask questions of the West Ham United defence. The only time in the whole first half we were able to really penetrate West Ham's back line was when obviously Son's ruled out goal for offside through VAR. It was a bit of magic from Giovani Lo Celso, tricky past 2-3 players, and he was able to pick out a pass as well to Son, who was only millimetres offside, and although a good finish was ruled out. But you can see here, look how many players are around Giovani Lo Celso when he attempts to create something. 4 players you can see surrounding Giovani Lo Celso, and the fact that he was able to get away from that and pick out a pass to Son just shows the magic that he has and why we're praising him so much, because he can do stuff like this. But it also goes to show how much limited space there was in central midfield, and it took Giovani Lo Celso to do something like this to break open that midfield, and he's not going to be able to do that multiple times a game. He's going to have to pick his moments to do that kind of action. But you can see here, Ryan Fredericks was drawn in because his defensive positioning is not very good, which is why someone's left so free. And again, the fullbacks, that was one of the opportunities we had to exploit the fullback and really hurt West Ham. However, it was ruled out for offside, unfortunately, millimetres offside, which it was just offside, toenail offside. There was chance later in the half again. Giovani Lo Celso, you can see here not much space in the central areas. However, he does spot Ben Davies because Bowen doesn't track his run. Friedrichs comes over. Davies has an opportunity to pick out a pass. As you see, we've got a few men in the box. He's able to pick out Lucas Moura, who doesn't hit the target, unfortunately. But fullbacks creating space on the flanks, exploiting the lack of tracking back from their wingers and the poor defensive positioning of their fullbacks. Spurs were able to create a chance, but we couldn't make it pay. Second half was more of the same. Again here, Serge Aurier getting in behind, creating a chance for Harry Kane. Again, the only space comes from the fullback areas, which is where we exploited them the most. But the best joy we were getting was from Giovani Lo Celso getting the ball. Our best chance of the second half before taking the lead was a counter-attack, which Jose Mourinho teams are known for. Harry Kane using his pace but just putting it wide. That was the only chance really we only had through the centre of the pitch, was that Harry Kane. That was that Harry Kane chance, and he obviously put it wide, but it was from a counter attack. It was because West Ham had players forward and they couldn't get back in time to clog up that midfield. But once they got back in the set position, it was pretty simple for them to do that. See, the goal came from a corner, set piece, was a bit out of nothing, and then once we get the lead, it's a different game. All of a sudden we're sitting back, all of a sudden we're looking to protect it, we're looking to counter attack, and it's just a different game, and it plays right into Jose Mourinho's hands. You can see here from the goal, from our second goal, look how many players are back here. 8 players back here, and Son's there as well, just ready to counter attack, with Kane the only player left further forward. So clearly we had a game plan once we took the lead to kind of drop off, win the ball back in our third and quickly break. And as you can see, Lamela was very, very good at that, being able to link up with Celso effectively, getting the ball to Son, who was able to slot Kane in, and Tottenham went on to win the game 2-0. The only time Kane was ever going to get that space is because West Ham players had gone forward, they're losing energy to get back in position, and all of a sudden they pushed their defence up. Kane was able to exploit that space, which wouldn't have been there if Spurs was still at 0-0. In the end, I think Tottenham deserved the victory. We deserved the 2-0 win. I think West Ham did make it very difficult for us. We found it very hard to break them down, but if it wasn't for Giovani and Celso, we wouldn't have taken anything out of this game. I feel we definitely wouldn't have won, and I think it was thanks to him. He was the only player really who was able to create chances, able to have a bit of spark about him in the centre. Without him, we looked static. We were finding it very hard to get away from West Ham central midfield players, and he was also the catalyst to getting the wide fullbacks and wide players involved in good areas when we're able to. But I think it shows that there's still a lot of work to be done when we're looking to break down teams who are sitting back deep, and especially a team like West Ham who had 3 central defensive midfielders in their lineup. I think there's a lot of work to be done. We relied way too heavily on Giovani and Celso to create something in the centre. We need Dele Alli to be getting more involved in these games. And I feel like if it wasn't for Lo Celso, this would not have been a victory. So he was the key to this. We exploited the fullback area as well. I thought Aurier and Davis contributed quite well in attacking positions. But at the end of the day, the 2 goals came from one Lo Celso corner and Lo Celso link up with Lamela on the counter attack. So that's where the game was won. But thanks to Lo Celso, we were able to actually create chances and dominate in possession. That's how I saw the game. That's my tactical review. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of the game? Did you think that we deserved the victory? Do you think that we relied too heavily on Giovani and Lo Celso? Let me know if you like this type of videos or this type of content. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And as always, come on you Spurs.